and why I always make jokes about it. And the reason I'm making this video, I make jokes, but I don't want people to start thinking the wrong thing to me, because I'm all about taking care of nature. And Velkommen alle sammen, back home in Norway. First video, and it's beautiful. Look at this. It is not very cold at all. I'm just wearing t-shirt basically. And it's the beginning of February, so this is the perfect time, perfect place, and perfect channel to speak about the Norse view on global warming or climate change. What the hell do I have any business speaking about this for? I'm just some idiot on YouTube that likes history. Well, the truth is the Norse actually did have an opinion on this, and it's quite a few places in our sources and mythology. And I'll tell you why. As usual, you know, humans have gone through all these types of things before. We may think that we're the first to experience a lot of these things, but the world goes in cycles and humans have experienced these things before. We just don't like to learn from them. So we can speak about the Landvetter in the Norse belief, the land spirits basically. I know you've all heard of them before. And there were even laws put into place by kings where you had to basically ask permission to cut down trees. So they were very, very environmentally conscious in the Viking Age. Also, it's in our mythology. The story of Balder and his death is a story of the seasons coming and going. And there are other parts of our myths where they represent certain climate disasters or volcano eruptions or things like that. My favorite scholar ever about Norse mythology, Hilda Ellis Davidson, even suggests that Ragnarök, the apocalypse, was symbolic of an event that happened in the migration period, a series of volcanoes erupting and the ash spreading out and blocking out the sun and affecting that global temperature, and that resulted in the migration period with a mass cooling and lots of death and disasters and things like that. In my opinion, I think Ragnarök is an ice age. That's what it's symbolic of, but I won't go into that in this video. The thing is, the myths and humans back then, they would have been worried about global cooling, not global warming. That is just the truth. They would not have experienced any discomfort or any worry about the world getting warmer at all. Look at this. This is February, and this is about as warm as it gets. And it's actually nice out. This would make life a hell of a lot easier for them if the world was warmer. Things would grow more. Even now, you can see in the forest up there where I'm going now, we might even find some berries this time of year, which would never happen if it's actually winter. So the people of the north, they would not have had any worries about global warming like we are experiencing today, and that's just the truth. Here's the thing though, if we look at history, any of the warm periods that we see are followed by a very, very cool period. Now, this is the problem. This happened in the Viking Age, believe it or not. It was actually almost as warm as it is today. And this has happened many, many times before in history. And what follows is a period of global cooling. So, like I said, yeah, these are all things that have happened before in history, and they will happen again. The question is, of course, always, you know, how are humans contributing to this? So yeah, of course, with 7 billion people in the world and all this industry, sure, we are contributing to quicker global warming than would have otherwise happened normally, but this has happened many times before. Here's the thing that I'm scared of though, and what the Norse would have been scared of too. It's not the global temperature going up and the sea levels rising and, you know, slightly more, you know, intense weather. Thing to be scared of is some sort of cooling as a reaction to this. If we think of the Norse goddess Jord, Thor's mother, think of the earth beneath us like any living thing, like conscious and has a spirit like any animist culture would have. Jord, our earth goddess, might just one day say, hey, you know what? I'm getting too fucking hot. I'm gonna make some volcano blow up and bring some little AC back to the earth again. This is what I'm scared of, and this is what the Norse would have been scared of long ago. And it seems kind of crazy to us today to think about that. We just see the earth getting warmer and warmer, and we don't think that there would ever be cooling anytime soon. But that's probably exactly what they thought in the Viking Age too. So yes, that is why I think we should be worried about climate change and global warming. But, you know, as always, I like to piss off both sides, so now I'll tell you what my whole problem with it is and why I always make jokes about it. And the reason I'm making this video, I make jokes, but I don't want people to start thinking the wrong thing to me, because I'm all about taking care of nature and taking care of the way the world is. My problem with it is the way it's being dealt with today is just completely wrong, and that's exactly why I'm making this video in Norway, one of the most climate-friendly countries on the world, and the one with the lowest, some of the lowest carbon emissions. And it's also the country where the people get fucked the worst. You know, that is my whole problem with it. Why is such a little country like Norway or Sweden or Denmark or any of these other countries who are some of the most green countries on the planet, why do they decide to tax the good people of these countries to hell? Why do they make every single person here drive electric cars? Why do they tax businesses? Why are they taxing farmers like here so they have to go bankrupt and sell all their farmland to big corporations? This is what's happening all over the world, and it's only happening in the developed countries who are actually making an effort to try and reduce their emissions. And the reality is, you know, no matter what they do, their emissions that they release is going to be that tiny bit of a significant difference. I forget what the numbers are, I'll maybe put it up here, but just Norway, for example, the carbon emissions that they release are a fraction of a percent. So even if they completely sent Norway back to the Stone Age with no technology and no carbon emissions whatsoever, let's even take America, let's even take the United States. Even if such a big country with big carbon emissions went back to the Stone Age and got rid of all technology and people were living in huts and millions died, it would make such a small difference on the actual carbon emissions of the world. Really, this is something the whole world needs to work together on, and that's not gonna fucking happen. I'm not even gonna name the countries' names, but you all know who they are, because some countries are not going to make any efforts to do anything about it. So why are we going to bankrupt all of the good people in countries like Norway, Sweden, Switzerland? Why are we going to bankrupt and make life hell on them because the government, the small few politicians in charge, want to make themselves look good on the international stage, right? I think that's the only reason they do it. They know damn well, and everybody knows damn well, that no matter what, reducing carbon emissions in the smallest countries in the world make no difference in the world. They just like to, you know, appeal to the younger, you know, environmentally friendly voters, and then they like to make themselves look good on the international scale when they have all these meetings. So that is my biggest problem with it. That's why I joke about it. But make no mistake, I do think it's a problem. And there is no one who thinks we should take care of nature better than me. So that is just clearing up my views, so you all know the truth, and also, you know, learning a little bit something about what the Norse or Germanic tribes would have thought about this issue if we had them here alive with us today. So hope you enjoyed, and I pissed some good people off on both sides, but hopefully I made some sense to most of the people in the middle. But that's all. Checking out from Norway. Vi ses nästa gång.